happening, folks? Cynthia, good to see you as always. People coming in and out as always. And, I'm sweaty as always. I'm going to try this one with no water today. Only my trusty chapstick. See how that works out. And it's just pure laziness. I didn't feel like getting up and getting myself a glass of water. There we go. Errant hair in the eye. Danny's here. What's up, Danny? Joseph, hello. She's a runner. She's a track star. Got people coming in and out. Agnostic, Tony, David, hello, hello, hello. Edwards, hello. Coco Bear, hello. Ooh, man, oh man, oh man. I gotta settle in. Gotta get my stuff together. So as always, Daily Heart Me, thank you, Danny, for leading the charge, as you always do, with a Daily Heart Me. It's good stuff. And he added a Go Popular to the occasion, getting more festive. That's nice. So, what is today? Today is Thursday, August 28th, 2025. And this is Yoddah Live. I am Yoddah, spelled Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. And also I have a second channel. People that are here mostly know that. Peaceful Grace, hello. My other channel is Coach.Yoddah. Coach, then a period, then Yoddah. And again, because film studios are litigious. My eyes are sweaty. That doesn't make any sense. Why are my eyes sweaty? That's wild. Peaceful Grace from Delaware. Excellent. I have mostly driven through Delaware in my life. I don't know if I've ever stopped there. I do have a fan, Cynthia. It is blowing on me right now, redirecting the cool air from my air conditioner, which is on the other side of the room, and blocked by a moving blanket in front of me that helps cut down the echo in my room. JK, what's going on? The plan is to have another live show that maybe is worth something. But you all will determine whether it is or isn't. TT Sucks. Hello. Interesting username. So, folks, let's do a couple things. Let's start by sharing out the live. Place your finger gently on the middle of the screen, either on my nose or my giant forehead, and your friends will pop up. A list of your friends will pop up. You can scroll down, you can scroll to the middle, whatever you like. You can start at the top, whatever floats your boat. And just click send next to as many friends as you can. I believe the limit is somewhere like 40 or 50. Never fully tested it, but send out the live as much as possible. Thank you, Cynthia, for sharing the live with more than 10 friends. That's good stuff. And after you do that, after you share, then start to tap in. We are just over 1,000 likes, which is perfect. That means that we are on the board. We are officially a live show that might get noticed. Under 1,000 likes, not so much, but we're moving in the right direction. Haven't had one of those 100,000 likes night in a while. I miss it. Brooke57, what is your name? My name is Yoddah, Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. Sorry, I can't spell it without saying that at the end. uh, what is my real name? Uh, why would I tell you that? What a weird question to ask on social media. I don't know if you're under the impression that my live is a dating show, but it isn't. So, if that's your agenda, you know, probably best off going somewhere else. You say you deserve to know? That's insane. So, bye, Brooke. You're blocked now because you sound like a lunatic. Oh, wow. She proved my point with her next post. Right before I blocked her, she posted another uh, comment. Gotta show this life. It's not for you. It's not for you, but I'm gonna date you. Yeah, I think it's very smart that I blocked her. She really sounds like a nut job. Or he. Brooke could be a man's name, I suppose, but I'm assuming it's a she. Whatever works. All right, so we've got 11 folks, 10 or 11 folks in here, so I guess this would be a good time to get going. I agree, Cynthia, that was odd. But, if you're a lunatic, it's good that you let everybody know right away, right? Saves people trouble trying to figure it out. Hello, Kathleen. I see you're here. Welcome. Thank you for coming. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I'm starting to enjoy doing this, I'm going to play a piece of content. I made it for my coaching channel, but I posted it to both of my accounts. My throat was a little wonky earlier, so I was speaking very close to the mic. So if you want to hear my mellifluous tones, my best advice is to put in earphones right now so you can get the most out of the experience. Oh, man. I don't think my voice is special. If people like it and say so, that's a lovely compliment. I am so used to hearing my voice after 5 years of editing my content that it really doesn't mean a big deal to me. But I do sound the way I want to sound. It took me 5 years of learning audio to finally figure out how to sound how I sound right now to all of you. It was a struggle. I'm not that smart, so it took a minute. But I am pleased with how I sound in my content. I normally don't speak this closely to the mic because I have a deep voice already. And when you get close to the mic, it creates what's called the proximity effect and really heightens the low end. So thank you all for coming in. Let's see, we've got JD, Gene, Jaybird, Chet, something or other, Mary Smith, Philip, Uhuru, as in like Star Trek Uhuru, and T62626, and Philip Quinn. Hello. All right, here we go. I'm going to play this video, and then I'll start bringing people up to either discuss that or anything else that they want to discuss. So away we go. What if you're perfect, exactly how you are now? Do you think the universe makes mistakes? You think you were brought onto the planet to be miserable and self-critical and sad? The odds against your birth are astronomical. When you do all the math, it's almost incalculable, the odds against your very existence. So since you've already won the most important race of your life, you deserve to be here. And maybe you don't need to fix anything. When Michelangelo was asked how he created one of the most beautiful sculptures ever in David, he said, "I just chipped away at all the marble that wasn't David." Maybe that's what you need to do. Just get rid of all of the bad information, all of the social mores, all of the religious nonsense, and just reveal your authentic self. All right, there it was. So let me start, as I generally do, by bringing Danny up, first and most revered guest. And anybody else that wants to come up, feel free. Either you will see a request box, black box with the word request in it, or next to the comments, you will see a red outline of a person and a blue outline of a person overlapping. And please just tap on that if you'd like to come up. So, all right, Danny, how you doing?
Well, I'm a little better than I was this morning, so it's
Yeah,
progress,
I
not
knew that there
perfection.
was a chance that you wouldn't be here, so I'm glad you're feeling a little better.
So I thought I'd give it a shot and see how long I can last, but I'm okay. So we're gonna give it a run.
That's good. Hello, Grave Digger. How you doing? So anyway, any thoughts on that piece that I played?
Uh, None that would make any sense at this point for me. I, it's the byline being perfect. That's a goal for most of us. Would love to be perfect in one way, shape, form, or another. But we all know we have flaws and certain stuff that we have to take out of our lives to take the negative out with it and everything else. So
Interesting. Okay, so you're looking at the idea of perfect in the very common way, which is how pretty much all of us are taught to look at the word perfect, which is basically the
right,
absence of flaws, right?
right,
So, what if we eliminate that definition and sort of look at the source of our creation, and whatever you think that is, whether you believe in a deity or you believe in the universe or whatever it is, your whatever creator you believe created you. When you look at the rest of the universe, when you look at how galaxies and atoms and cells in our bodies all look exactly the same, when you look at how the seasons work, when you look at how, all of the things in nature seem perfectly in balance, then what if we're already perfect? Is that a possibility?
yes, and I guess so. I never looked at it that way. To be honest with you, it never even came to my thought. Matter of fact, the person that's supposed to be perfect in every way is an invisible man, which nobody's ever seen, or so.
Right. So given this new context, um, do you think that maybe every human being starts off as just this perfect creation, and whatever happens later happens.
Yes, I think that everybody that comes into this world uh, has a clean slate is the word for it. I guess I
Yeah,
want to
yeah. The
say.
Buddhists would refer to that as tabula rasa. Same thing, clean slate. So it's interesting when I look at the odds against existence. I mentioned it in the piece, but I'll go a little bit deeper into it. I tried to figure out, and I don't have the math skills to do this perfectly, but I tried, or even competently, but I tried to figure out mathematically what the odds against your birth is, our birth, any one of us, right? So when you look at how many competitors there are for the egg, it could be anywhere from a couple 100 million to over 1 billion, right? And you look at the fact that a woman has a cycle where she's only fertile for a short window every month, very short window, right? And so one of the reasons why nature made it so that men could procreate anytime, anywhere, is because women have a cycle. And if men had a cycle too, it would be nearly impossible to line those things up, right? So nature made sure that one half of the equation was always ready to go, right? But you take that cycle into account, and you take into account all of the competitors for the egg, and then you take into account all of the fertilized eggs that are flushed out of a woman's body and never become a human. So when you look at all those statistics, it creates a number that is referred to in math as a gogol, which is where Google took its name. A gogol means essentially too many zeros to count, right? And that's the odds against your birth, my birth, and everybody else's birth. So when I think about those odds, I conclude, whether rightly or wrongly or somewhere in between, my conclusion is that the universe conspired to have us here. And if we're here, we are meant to be here. And if the universe created us like everything else the universe creates, then we must be perfect as well. Does that logic seem reasonable?
Yeah, the way you put it, it is very logical.
All right, cool. Yeah, so that's what motivated me to do that piece. It's actually something again that I wrote a long time ago. It was actually one of my first ever posts on another social media platform, and I wrote it out. Not quite the way this thing is, but the what I wrote out was the idea of the odds against your birth. And then today I just thought, let me add a different twist to it. But I kind of like going through my old material and finding stuff that is still meaningful to me. So that said, what else is happening? Anything interesting in the news, in the world?
No, other than what I sent you a little earlier on my, and I posted on my Discord. Uh, and of course, the RFK is Junior is appointing a temporary CDC director after he had the other one fired. And I guess a bunch of them that work at the CDC have now striked and walked off the job.
Well, there you go. I mean, when Dump was first in office, he appointed that idiot Ben Carson, as head of HUD. And I thought to myself, so you're taking a very successful surgeon in the medical field, and instead of making him Surgeon General, which would make sense, you make him the head of housing and urban development. Sure, that seems reasonable. So, the idea that you put a person who's not a doctor in charge of America's health is just absurd.
Yep. I was surprised that he didn't consider Carson this time, uh, in his second administration for that job. But he owed RFK so much for dropping out of the race and and breaking away from the Democrats that they wouldn't allow him to be part of their little party. He gave him a job as payback, pretty much,
Hmm.
for his endorsement.
Yeah. And look, that's how government has always worked. I understand that, but you know, it's sort of like what the Godfather said to one of his men when he was talking about what to do with this guy. And it might have been, it was either Michael Corleone said it or maybe Don Corleone, I forget at this moment, but he said, ship him over to Vegas, let him make a living, but, keep an eye on him. So, I understand you want to give this guy a job in government for helping you out, but why such a critically important job that there's no chance in hell this guy is going to be good at, unless you have another agenda?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what his agenda is because he's all over the place. He's throwing so much crap against the wall and hoping that it sticks. That what is his agenda other than chaos?
Well, I think I know what it is. Of course, I can't read his mind, but I think actions speak louder than words. So everything he's doing is consolidating money so that he can distribute it to his friends and make his own. I mean, that's what every move has been about. And if it's not that, it's just pure cruelty, because apparently, Miller told ICE agents, hey, stop going after the criminals that take work to catch. Don't go after the street candy dealers. Don't go after the violent ones. That takes too much time and effort. Snatch people up from Home Depot. Snatch people up from, volunteering to fight fires in a state that is known for forest fires. You know, and all of that again. And I believe the end of that story is about money. I believe that his goal is to fill up private prisons so he and his friends can make money.
Well, I'm quite sure there's quite a bit of agreements with kickbacks involved for him, especially to gain some additional wealth from those private prisons and private contractors that are going to paint the wall and build the wall. I'm sure he's going to get kickbacks into
Yeah.
his pocket.
All right. Yeah. Same thing with the new M, which we won't speak of too much, but what TikTok is about to turn into, we can only assume that he got a cut,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because he's making his campaign backers the new owners. So that's an easy one to figure out. So that's why I say, like, if you want to figure out his agenda, just follow the money. To me, it becomes painfully obvious. And if there's no money at the end of the search, then it's about cruelty. Those seem to be his only two motivators.
Other than you don't think it's his other motivation is to consolidate power, to take
Well,
away,
but I think the power thing sort of goes with the money because he's already the most powerful person in the world, right? So there's no more power for him to get. The rest, like, also look at his influences. He loves dictators. right? He's said as much over and over and over again. He's named several of them. The most notorious dictators in the world are men that he looks up to. And I think he looks up to Putin more than anybody. And this is exactly what Putin has done in his country. He's essentially annexed all the businesses so that most of the money in that country funnel to him or flows to him, right? And it seems like Dump is trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
When they go back to work, I think the King's Court comes back on Tuesday in Washington,
Yeah, well,
D.C.
useless.
I think their summer break is over with after this weekend.
Oh, look. Oh, uh, another propaganda parrot, excuse me, propaganda parrot. Screwy sounds like is how you would pronounce his name. Why did China Joe and his crime cartel have 17 LLCs? By the way, there's no apostrophe, uh, and it's not a capital S. It would be LLC, and then a small s to indicate plurals. But I'm sure you're not smart enough to understand that. You're also not smart enough to understand that Joe Biden's political enemies investigated him for 2 years and came up with nothing. The scoundrels that they brought in, including spies, including literally people working against America, including people in jail that they brought up as witnesses, all cleared Biden. None of them had anything on him. And let me go a step further. If there was evidence that Joe Biden committed a crime, I would have said immediately, lock him up. I have no love for Biden. I don't know him. He's not part of my family. He's a guy. And if he had committed a crime, lock him up. I wouldn't give a fuck. But the fact that you're sitting here calling him a criminal when the man you voted for is actually a convicted criminal is a fucking joke. You understand how ridiculous you are saying shit like this? It doesn't make sense. Just like Clinton. If Hillary Clinton had, done something wrong, lock her up. I wouldn't have hesitated to say that. She was
Yep.
investigated within an inch of her fucking life. Senate hearing, Senate hearing, Senate hearing, Senate hearing, all these investigations, FBI, everybody went over her life with a fine-tooth comb and came up with nothing. And if they had, lock her up. See, we're different than you sociopaths in the cult. You think if you throw out a name of a Democrat and suggest that they're doing something wrong, that we would defend them like you do, but we're not part of a cult. So we say when someone commits a crime, we don't care what party they're in. We say lock them up. But if they've been investigated and cleared, and you're still calling them criminals, and Dump has been investigated and convicted, and you don't think he's a criminal, you're a fucking moron. There's no helping you. You're too deep in the cult. So, again, we have 49 people in here. That's wonderful, folks. Now 51 people. Tap, 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 tap that screen. We're only at 12,000. It used to be that every half hour. Let's see, what did we used to get? Yeah, we're actually on pace. Every half hour used to be about 12,000, 12,500, 15,000, something like that. That would be perfect. So at the, At the end of 2 hours, we could have 100,000 likes in here. But no pressure, just a desire, just a wish on my part. But anyway, Danny, is my logic sound? If someone is investigated and cleared, why are we calling them a criminal? Does that make any sense?
Well, that's they were calling for Clinton to be locked up all the time in there at the RNC and every rally here and there, but they never found anything on her. And it makes you made perfect sense. And using the word perfect is in a different context in this discussion, but still, they did the same thing. I wouldn't have had a problem if Bill Clinton would have got arrested and charged for perjury, like he was. It wasn't the act that got him in trouble; it was
Mm-hmm.
the attempt to cover up that
Yeah,
got
the,
him in
the,
trouble.
the act was consensual between two adults.
Right, to
And
adults.
you could wring your hands and clutch your pearls at what he did to his wife and child, and I would agree with you 100%. But as far as
Hmm.
being a president, he's still the only president in American history that balanced the budget and zeroed out the deficit. And I didn't vote for husband and father. I voted for president. His
That's
personal
right.
issues are his own. And imagine going after that guy because he lied about having an affair. And again, he lied under oath, so he deserved to be impeached, right? No argument from me. But are we
Yep.
really going to compare the crime of lying under oath to cover up an illicit affair with the string of illegality that follows dump around like a bad cold? Oh,
And plus, on
traffic
top of
man.
that, he lied and lied and lied
Right.
under oath
And he
about
lies
that stuff.
constantly.
Yep. So
Hey, traffic
and
man, I
he's
don't see you,
also
but I
was
think you're up
convicted.
here.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, cool. You're invisible, but I if I hover, I can see that you're there. Cool.
There
I'm
you
sorry,
go.
Danny. What were you saying?
And on top of that, he was actually convicted by
Right,
a jury of his peers.
right. And these
34
people that want to
counts.
dismiss his conviction, I'm not going to take a long time on this, though I could. I could do a TED talk on this shit. Okay, but here's how it works. And I'm not saying this for the reasonable people that are listening to me right now. I'm saying this so that you can take this to the next conversation that you have with a MAGA hat. It starts with a grand jury. Again, the grand jury has to decide, is there enough evidence to charge this person with a crime? And the people who looked at the evidence said yes. Okay? So to all these conspiracy theories, so the grand jury is crooked, right? And then the judge is crooked, and then all the other 12 jurors, which the defense helped pick out, right?
Hmm.
So everyone's just crooked, but the one person who has a history of being crooked, he's not crooked. That's childish fucking logic. And all these people, oh, he wasn't sentenced, so he wasn't convicted. No, that's not how it works. He wasn't sentenced because he became president again. He's still a convicted felon. That doesn't change. Oh, we have another guest. I don't think I've seen him before. Let's see what he has to say if he loads up.
These people are
That's
like fucking
Pete
deranged.
Pop.
Like what the
Hello?
fuck?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, your name is
Can you
Pete?
hear me? Yep.
Okay. It sounds
Hi.
like you have a little bit of an echo because you're not listening with headphones on, but let's see if we can work around that. For TikTok purposes, are you at least 18 years old? Oh, that first question was too hard for him. Traffic man, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing now I'm doing fantastic. I'm a lot better.
Yeah. So yeah, Pete was feeling too much pressure by being asked his name or his age rather. That question was too hard for him. Anyway, my title today is perfect with a question mark. My premise, and maybe I'll play this again, in a couple minutes, now that we have 60 some odd people in here. My premise is that the universe seems perfect to me. And so I believe that everything that comes from the universe is perfect. Now, I know that the way we look at the concept of perfect is without flaws or without mistakes. And that's not the context that I'm referring to. I'm just saying that we are all, as humans, perfect creations. And whether that comes from a theological point of view, because if you believe that God is perfect, then wouldn't his creation be perfect? Or just a Darwinistic point of view, which is when I look at the systems in nature and how everything is in perfect balance, I have to assume that we are perfect as well. What do you think about that?
So I will say this, and I may be mistaken on the numbers, but the speaking of perfection in nature, the moon is at the perfect point away from the sun as it is away from the earth to perfectly eclipse it here on the earth. If it was any further or any closer, what we would see as an eclipse would not matter.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people try to take that as a theological testament to a deity, stuff like that. However,
Could be. And by the
could
way, the
be,
word you were looking
sure.
for is farther, not further. Get it straight,
Thank
goddammit.
you. Sorry. Hey, listen, I've been off for a couple nights. Give me a break.
But yeah, no,
um,
I think that's
yeah.
just one of many examples of how nature just seems to work perfectly. Like
Hmm.
when I watched The Inconvenient Truth, it talked about how these mosquitoes were born at exactly the moment that these birds that were migrating were passing them, so the birds had something to eat during their journey. And, climate change had disrupted that. So they were being born either too early or too late. And, it was one of the things that man had disrupted. But you know what I'm going to do again?
Yeah.
We had a lot of people drop, but a lot of people are still here. I'm going to play this video again. It's mercifully short, so you can get the whole context of it. What if you're
Mhm.
perfect, exactly how you are now? Do you think the universe makes mistakes? You think you were brought onto the planet to be miserable and self-critical and sad? The odds against your birth are astronomical. When you do all the math, it's almost incalculable, the odds against your very existence. So since you've already won the most important race of your life, you deserve to be here. And maybe you don't need to fix anything. When Michelangelo was asked how he created one of the most beautiful sculptures ever in David, he said, I just chipped away at all the marble that wasn't David. Maybe that's what you need to do. Just get rid of all of the bad information, all of the social mores, all of the religious nonsense, and just reveal your authentic self. All right. There you go. So what'd you think? Oops. You have to unmute. There you go.
Sorry. Sorry. There we
No
go.
worries. No
No,
worries.
that was really deep. Um, yeah. Oof. Um, wow. Uh, um, so, uh, I absolutely agree with what you're saying about Michelangelo with David because, like, you know, you are who you are. We are perfect, every single one of us, and it's very difficult, trying to explain that to other people, that every one of us deserves to be looked at as perfect, you know, no matter what. And I don't know. One of the hopefully one of these days we get to that point where, as a society, we understand that and we embrace that, and we can accept everybody who for who they are, no matter what kind of a thing. And
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I mean, I think all of the stuff that we get taught, a lot of it's useless. A lot of it's not
yeah,
even true. Like, oh, my country's better than your country. Why? Because you were born there?
yeah,
That's it?
right,
That's your whole claim?
right,
Because, think about it. Think about anybody that's listening. If you feel that you love America and are proud to be American, I want you to understand that if you were born in Afghanistan, you would feel exactly the same way about Afghanistan. If you were born in Russia, you would feel exactly the same way about Russia.
hmm
I mean, it makes sense, right? If the only
it
reason you feel love for this country is because you were born here, then wherever you were born, you would feel the same thing about, because every country wants that. Every country promotes that. Every country has its own mythology and its own origin story and its own propaganda that it pours into the ears of its citizens from when they're very early in their life and they're very young and impressionable, right? Which is why the church shifted from baptizing adults to baptizing children, because they
yeah.
realize once they get to be adults, you're not going to be able to convince them of the goofy shit that you have to say. So let's start them young while they still don't know anything, right? So wherever you were born, if you were born in France, you'd be like, Vive la France. It wouldn't matter. Like, you would literally feel, and I've had people argue with me about this. I was like, how could I possibly be wrong about this? Everyone is proud to be from where they're from, except me. I don't give a fuck.
There you go.
Because I don't,
I you
I
know
just refuse to believe the hype. I refuse to believe, like, what are things that people say? Uh, all these statements that start with "my culture is this" or "my culture is that," "my culture does this," "my culture does that." Oh, my culture's really into family. Oh, really, Skippy? You think that makes you special because your culture's into family? Could you point out the culture that isn't?
you're
Tell
right.
me what culture is like notoriously against family.
Well, and one thing that was like confusing for me when I was younger, in my early teens and stuff, was I was really introduced into this idea with the Greek culture, right? Because the only time I've ever been out of the United States was to go to Canada, and honestly, I mean Niagara Falls is basically the U.S. To be honest,
Right.
or vice versa. But there's been this ideal to keep the Greek culture here in America, and I remember this one time when I was 14 years old, I asked this it was one of my grandfather's friends. I was like, well, if you like Greece so much, why did you leave? And he got pissed at me. But but that's kind of the same thing, in a sense where if you're so proud of Greece and you're so proud of where you came from, what what was the thing that made you determined to leave that country and then come to a completely different culture? You know, and I just got yelled at basically for saying it, so I never really got a straight answer. But I mean, uh,
Well,
I
there are two answers to that question, by the way. The first one is the most obvious, which is America is very good at marketing itself.
right,
Okay, we put that statue in the harbor, which now seems to be giving out the wrong message because we don't want
yeah,
anybody, right? But
yeah,
we put out the statue in the harbor, and we all, we talked about the land of opportunity, and the streets are paved with gold, and this is the greatest country in the world, and all that horse shit, right? That's the first most obvious answer. Right behind it, in most obvious category, is that there are some places in the world that are absolutely horrendous, and people's lives are at stake. They're in jeopardy. So
Right.
they risk these very arduous trips, and some of them actually don't even survive the trip because it's so dangerous. And, they come here just literally to save their lives,
Yeah.
So those are the two main things, people are convinced that America's great. And that's why immigrants are 4 times more likely to start a business in America than Americans are. It's because that's been drilled into them their whole life. Oh, if you want to make it, you got to go to America. This is the land of opportunity. You live in some podunk country, some dirt water country, whatever it is, and you're looking for opportunity. You could look to other countries. You could look to Sweden and Denmark and Norway and other countries like that. But because America does so much advertising and marketing and propagandizing itself, people are convinced that this is the place to come.
Right. And I mean, and as somebody who most of my grandparents had started a business here in America, uh,
Yeah.
uh, you know, it's. I mean, we're talking. They came over here after WW2 kind of a thing, and well, my grandparents, my grandfather and my grandmother, I should say, my great grandparents came over earlier, and even back then, like the early 1900s, it was still the same thing. It was, like you said. I mean, the streets are paved with gold. It's the land of opportunity. This is, all of the propaganda. And I'll be honest with you, looking at it today, I can if they were given the same opportunity today, I don't know if they would actually make the trek here.
Yeah, it's
You know,
very different. We're
yeah,
we're in a place where a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't think so.
yeah. I
They're
mean,
right
I'm
now. There are tourist boards all over the world telling people don't go to
don't
America.
go.
Yeah,
I'm actually at the point where I'm applying for my family for Greek dual citizenship kind of a thing because,
right.
if the poop hits the fan, at least I got somewhere to grunt to.
And it's not
You
and
know,
it's not even if, it's when.
it's when, yeah, at this point.
I mean, historically speaking, we've seen what happens to countries that go down this path. This guy's not letting up anytime soon. He's not having a
No,
change of heart anytime soon. And the
no.
goons that surround him are even worse.
The only change of heart he'll have is, obviously when that happens. But but then right after him, there's a whole fleet of people.
Yeah. Dump
Yeah.
is going to he's going to repent as he's clutching his chest and falling toward the floor. But obviously
He
it's too
he's
late.
he's already had the conversation about him try. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah. You're well aware. Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Desperate to get it, desperate to get into heaven. As the Jamaicans
Yes.
say, everyone want heaven, no one want die.
Right.
My
So there's a
dad
new
already
goal up
had this
here,
too. So
100 chili peppers, because I like chili peppers.
Hmm.
I buy crushed chili peppers so that I can put it on my food because I love it. So anybody that wants to address that goal, Dinkelberg, thank you for the roses. If anybody wants to tackle chili peppers, have at it. But Danny, I'm sorry, you were saying?
I was just saying that Trump will have plenty of invitations when he gets there because my dad's already reserved a room for him down there. So
There you go. Yeah, I mean, he's just a train wreck of a human. And before he got into politics, he was just an awful person who did awful
Yes.
things to a lot of people, including his family. Once he got into politics, he had a larger stage in which or on which to be awful, and we're all suffering because he was given the opportunity to make us suffer. And I mean, Hillary warned us in the second debate. She spelled out everything he was going to do. Kamala warned us in the second, and also the one and only debate they had. She laid out everything that he was going to do, and in speeches as she was campaigning, it was like, yeah, he's going to do this. He's going to violate the Constitution. He's going to declare conflicts with other countries. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He's like, she spelled it out perfectly. Hey, Cherry, good to see you. So let's see. What did these? 2025. Eric 50 says 2025. All you had to do is read it. It was there to read. Yeah. Yeah. And we were sounding that alarm too. I was talking about it. Almost every creator on here, when we were talking to MAGA hats before the debates, we were asking them, like, what's the deal with 2025? Doesn't that trouble you? Doesn't it, this blueprint for fascism, this blueprint for stripping away rights from people,
Well, and excuse me, even before the election, they were taking applications for people to be in the administration. There was that whole thing of I don't remember the guy's name. He was the guy that would he'd be eating ice cream here on TikTok, and then he would say something like racist or whatever. Oh God, I can't remember the guy's name, but he is somewhere right now. He's in the Trump administration, and and this guy was actively trying to recruit people to get the people they wanted in this administration, and it's like, do you guys not realize what these people are doing? It's literally right in front of you. But I guess we've been programmed to just sit back and go, oh well, he's just the president for 4 years.
Well, that's the thing, and also MAGA hats are dumb. So,
Yeah, exactly.
not only is it's that an embellishment of the old saying, you can lead a MAGA hat to facts, but you can't make them think.
Yep.
These people that crash out regularly on these live shows it's just amazing. Like, I know that I fortified my knowledge when I came on to TikTok, because as I was debating people, they were bringing up things that I didn't know about. And so you do what people do, which is unable to verify. Oh, let's try that again. Making me do a puzzle. Am I good? All right, there we go. So once someone brings up something I don't know, I feel that it's my job to learn about it so that I can speak intelligently about it in the future. And I don't see the same thing happening with MAGA hats. They're literally still using the same stale talking points that they were using last year. Still trying to convince us that the sun rises in the west. It's
Right.
just amazing. Let's see, someone came up, but they ran away right away, so I guess they didn't mean to come up. It's just it's just amazing how,
Well, I mean,
why don't you get smarter?
right. I mean, there was a lady that I felt that I needed to make a response video, which I don't really normally like to do that because I'm I'm not trying to catch that kind of clout for my channel, if you will. But um, her opinion on the flag stuff and the executive order and stuff, and just the stupidity that she shared with her face, like it's her face,
On
right?
purpose.
And right, on purpose, and shared it to the world to say, look how dumb I am, and
Right.
I don't
Right.
understand how the U.S. government is set up and all this and that. And it's like, uh,
Yeah,
uh,
it's that thing of like, tell us you don't know anything without telling us you don't know anything.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But that's exactly why I refer to them as propaganda parrots, because the easiest thing for an unintelligent person to do is repeat something that he thinks is smart, right?
Yeah.
And since you have people on television, they think, oh, these people are on television, they must be smart, right?
Right.
They don't realize that they're mostly morons, right? Or either
Correct.
that or paid to shill for the government. And so instead of learning about what they talk about, they are just content that they have something that they think is smart to say. And then they meet
Right.
me, and then I shit all over them and humiliate them, and, then they go away.
Yeah. Yeah. These are the same people that used to watch Jerry Springer back in the 90s and then go to work or go to school the next day or whatever and be like, oh my gosh, did you see this thing that's happening? And then like people like you, I'm assuming you and I would be like, that's set up, right? That's not
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah. If you're watching Jerry Springer thinking that it's a documentary, you might be too
Yeah.
stupid, you
Yeah.
know? And yeah, there were some genuine reactions on Springer because I can tell when
Sure.
someone's faking things. It's one of the reasons why women are so annoyed with me. It's like, I know you're trying to fake it,
Yep.
you know. And ladies, just in case you try to get arrogant about this, there are involuntary muscle uh, firings off that happen when the real O happens. So if that's not happening, I know you're faking it. Luckily, only 2 women have ever attempted to fake it with me, but there's some things you can't fake, and involuntary muscles are one of those things. And the other thing that I'll tell you, unsolicited advice. If you fake it, you are never going to help that guy get better. Okay? He's running around thinking he's getting the job done because you're letting him think that. Bad strategy. Right?
No room for improvement. Correct.
Yeah. He's like, nailed it.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
goodness.
it's, and by the way, I've been like this all my life in terms of like wanting to bone up for the next encounter, because
Literally.
when I was a child, if I lost an argument, I was devastated. I hated that shit. Or someone said something snarky and I didn't have a good response for it. I used to stay up at night trying to think of the 50 things that I could have said, even though I'll never have that opportunity again, but I wasn't smart enough to understand that. I was just like, all right, if they say this, I'm going to say this. If they say this, I'm going to, it's sort of like George
Yes.
Costanza with the,
Yep.
with the eating shrimp thing, it's
Yep.
that whole thing. Hey, Jessica, what's happening?
Oh, hey, just got off of another live. Traffic. God, you missed it.
I'm sorry.
Oh man. Oh, buddy.
I haven't
Oh
been up to
man.
Yoda's lives in a couple nights, so I felt that I needed to come over.
Oh, I'm glad
That's
that you did.
that's
So,
completely fair.
what was going on with the other live?
Uh, we had a guy in there who, he claims he's independent, but he voted for Trump, and he's, on like his 4th set of knee pads for the man. So uh and it just but he kept trying to talk about how, oh yeah, I support Trump, but my black friends, and
Oh no.
he was constantly tokenizing. It was gross, and I decided I was way too sober for that conversation, so
I adore the fact that on South Park they have a man of color that they call Token. That's just fucking hilarious. That show, let me tell
uh,
you, that I personally think that Trey Parker is a genius, a comedic genius.
hmm
Because, like, first of all, I think South Park's been going for what, 23 years now,
Yeah, I
or
think what
something
was it?
like that.
1997 was the first season. Listen, it's been on so long that that we used to look up clips of South Park in the library at my school before they put it on the banned list where you couldn't go to southpark.com to watch the clips.
That's funny.
So, kind of give you some perspective on how long that show's been on the air.
Well, let's see. Let's see what the interwebs say. South Park. When was it started? Come on. 1997. Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
That's wild.
but I mean, that show has been very accurate to societal, just popular culture, societal culture. I mean, really, and it's been relevant.
If you portray people as dumbasses, you're going to be right most of the time.
Exactly.
I do also appreciate that they skip out on like ramping up their animation in order to be able to be more current and to put things out so quickly, and I greatly appreciate that tactic.
Yeah. No, that's a decision that they made early on. They were like, if we're going to be topical, we can't try to make Disney shit because that just takes too long. Like, I think the average Disney film before CGI, it took 2 years for illustrators to make those fucking things,
Yeah, I think
and even now it still takes a long time.
Well, I was gonna say even like Toy Story in 1995 took, I think it was like 4 years just to generate all that. Yeah. So
if you want to be topical, you gotta cut corners on the animation, but it adds to the charm of it, And when I think of something like Team America, when Matt and Trey were interviewed for that, like, why marionettes? Why did you make a whole film with marionettes? And by the way, not only did they use marionettes, they used the director of photography and the assistant director that worked on like the Bruckheimer Simpson stuff, like Days of Thunder and Top Gun and shit like that. Because, like, cinematically speaking, it looked like every other action film, but their reasoning for using marionettes, they said actors are useless. Right? That's why every time they depict an actor on their show, they always make them sound ridiculous. So I just love those guys. I just think, what was this play, Book of Mormon? Like, this guy doesn't miss. He did a play that won the Tony for best play. Like, that's wild.
Yes.
You draw 8 and 9-year-olds that talk dirty, and then you can also make an award-winning play. Yeah. He's a fucking genius.
Speaking of context and similarities, The Simpsons have been on since 1989.
Yeah. Wild shit. Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
I think it's
and technically they've been on before. Yeah, well, technically they were on before that because what were
Tracy Ullman?
Tracy Ullman, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the interstitials to the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah, but it's 1989 when the first episode came out.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, and to keep it funny and to have Family Guy copy you almost frame by frame, it's just wild. It's wild, and not taking anything away from Seth, whatever his name is. He's a talented guy too. By the way, what was his name?
Seth
MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. I just watched what was it called? A Million Ways to Die in the West.
1,000 Ways to Die in the Old West.
1,000 Ways. Yes. Yeah, it's so funny, so funny. Just one crazy joke after another.
I hate to say it, the only scene I remember from that movie, because my wife and I saw it in the theater, was when he was walking through the town, and there was that noise happening in the barn, and he opened the barn door, and Doc Brown was like, "Great Scott!" Right? He covered up the DeLorean.
Right.
I have to go back and watch that movie, but yeah.
I think it's great. Like, it's goofy. It's the typical Seth MacFarlane comedy shit, but I found it hilarious. Plus, I have a thing for Alex Borstein as well. So
there you go. let's not forget, Seth MacFarlane can belt out some Frank Sinatra songs too.
He made a whole album covering
Oh yeah,
Yes, he
he's
Sinatra.
super
did.
talented.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy talented dude. You know.
What was the movie my kids watched? Used to watch. Sing. He was the mouse in
Oh, I never
Sing,
watched it.
who belt. Yes. He sang "My Way" by Frank Sinatra
There
in
you
that
go.
movie, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of like Seth MacFarlane's version more than I like Frank Sinatra's.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the people that Sinatra was big when I was growing up. I mean, this was like sort of the second wave of his fame, but I had known about Sinatra my whole life, and I was listening to him going, I don't see what the big deal is. you know and again, not to take anything away from the guy, and anyone that likes him, that's cool, but I just was like, all right,
Mhm.
he seems like he's kind of talking through most of this shit you know
Yeah, right.
but I will say this about Sinatra: that was a man. That was a
Yeah.
real fucking man. That dude stood up for his friends no matter what it would cost him. He stood up for
Yep.
Sammy Davis Jr. He's like, if he's not allowed in here, then we're not doing it. And
Yeah.
that's putting millions of dollars on the line for principle. Speaking of which, I just found out that a long list of some of my favorite comedians just decided to do some kind of Saudi comedy festival. And all I can say is this, and this includes Chappelle, this includes Bill Burr, some heavy hitters. And all I can say is this: if there's a price for your integrity, you don't actually have any.
Right.
I
Well,
was very
and
disappointed.
as far as Chappelle's concerned, I mean, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that was kind of like the whole point of his third season, wasn't it?
His third season, with the season he didn't do?
Well, so we had season one, season two, and then there was like two or three episodes of season three because
Yeah,
he
but he
took
wasn't on
he
them. He wasn't on them. That was Darnell Rawlings, and another guy did those.
hosted it. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I guess that's
Chappelle
kind of to
got
my
paid
point.
something
Yeah.
like 50 million for the show. It wasn't just
Right,
directly to him. It was 50 million to produce the
right.
show. And at that point he just decided it wasn't worth it, and walked away from it, and then spent 12 years away, and then came back like a mythological beast. Like his
I will
specials
grant you
when he
that.
came
Yeah.
back were fucking amazing. I
Yes.
I think if you're going to build a Mount Rushmore of comedy, you know, the first two on there, in no particular order: Pryor, Carlin, and Chappelle deserves to be on there as well.
Yeah. I completely agree with that.
I mean, if like literally Chappelle does shows where he'll just get up on stage and talk for 6 hours and nobody leaves.
I know I wouldn't. For real.
Everything he says is fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Everything he says is deep, man. And when he got the one of the Kennedy Center honors, the people that were speaking about him and the way he was speaking about his friends and his family, like, you realize that this is a deep dude. Billy Connolly and Robin Williams. That's Swifty Ben. I love Billy Connolly. I saw him when he was first introduced to America. Now, I'm going to give people 10 seconds to answer this. Anyone in the chat, who introduced, or anyone on the panel, who introduced Billy Connolly? Why can't I say his name? Billy Connolly to America. Anybody know?
Nope.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh.
Whoopi Goldberg discovered him, I mean, for America. He was already a name. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you how big a name he was. Remember the singer Jerry Rafferty?
Mm-hmm.
He was in a band with him. He was like they did
No
like they
shit.
were like Simon and Garfunkel.
No shit. That's so
Right
sweet.
down the line. Yeah. I have 2 Jerry
Um,
Rafferty songs on my phone. Love Jerry Rafferty. Winding your
my
way down on Baker Street. Light in your head and
wait.
dead on your feet and another crazy day. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No. Baker Street.
Yeah,
That's no shit,
that's Jerry
dude. I
Rafferty.
listen to Baker Street all the damn time. Okay,
It's an
yeah.
amazing
No,
song.
it's Jerry Rafferty. Yeah, it
It's
is.
an amazing
Yes,
song. Yeah.
shit. It's true. Shit. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Um, Speaking of comedians, real quick. So my brother-in-law, and I thought he was joking. He goes, "I won tickets to Andrew Dice Clay," and I was like, "Wait, he's still alive?"
Not only is he
I hate
still
to be
alive,
like,
he's still one of the funniest dudes out there. Let's remember
well,
that he
right?
was the first comedian ever to sell out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
And you
and
know
it,
who
it,
you
it
know
blew
who
me
sold it
away.
out for 4 nights, but because of a snowstorm only got to play 3 of those nights?
I'm gonna go with George Carlin as a conservative guess, but I'm probably wrong.
Good guess, Louis C.K.
Okay.
Louis C.K. is a brilliant comic. Absolutely
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes.
He when the thing that I love that he does is he's the master at redirection. Because all jokes are a form of a magic act because the punchline has to surprise you, right?
Yeah.
That's why comedians have to come up with material over and over again, whereas singers can play the same song for 150 years,
Right.
right? Not only that, we process language differently than we process music, right? I forget what it's called, some kind of synaptic nervous thing in your brain, whatever it is. There's a phrase for it that's not coming to me right now. But um, when Louis C.K. takes an audience down a path, it's they never see it. They never see it coming. As a matter of fact, I just texted a Louis C.K. joke to both my ex-wife and my best friend. So let me find that. Okay. So Louis C.K. as God, right? He's like, what are you doing with the animals? He's talking to a human. What are you doing with the animals? You're eating them? That's disgusting. Why would you eat a perfectly fuckable pig? You never see that
Yeah.
line coming, you know?
No.
And that's how and he another thing he does on purpose is that he makes you laugh at horrible shit, you know? You
Yes.
and that's the amazing thing about comedy is that laughter is an involuntary response. You know, if something strikes you as funny, you don't have a choice about laughing at it, even if the second thing you do is go, "Oh, that's horrible." Too late, you already
Yeah.
laughed at it. And
Yep.
and Louis C.K. he'll castigate his audience. He'll make them laugh at something horrible, and it's like, "Oh no, you can't leave me now. You already
Yep.
laughed at that other horrible shit."
Well, and what before we had kids, my wife and I, anytime we went on any kind of like vacation or road trip or whatever, we would turn the comedy channel on. That was our go-to for our
Yeah,
travel noise. And
you and
I
Jackson
mean,
Brown.
just yeah. One of my favorite comedians was John Panette. I don't
Oh,
know
I
if
know
you're
John
familiar
Panette,
with.
fat
Yes,
guy.
yes, yes. Get out of the line. You know, just I used to just love his whole routine, and I'll tell you, I remember the day that I found out that he left us. I was up in my attic putting insulation in, listening to the Comedy Channel, and they broke in. I don't remember, it was on like XM radio or iHeartRadio, whatever it was, and they like broke in and they said, we have some terrible news. John Panette unfortunately has passed away, and this and that. And I was up in my attic crying like a little kid
I understand
because
that.
I absolutely loved his comedy, and to
Yeah.
find out that that he's, oh man,
Well,
it's
I've
so
shared the same
terrible.
thing about George Carlin, and
Mhm.
of course, I loved his comedy, but I loved his philosophy even more. It
Yeah,
shaped much of who I am as a human being, and I fell to my knees in the shower when I heard he passed away. Same thing. I
sure.
was listening to a radio station, just music, and they broke in to say that he was gone, and I just collapsed in a heap. And I've never responded to anyone's passing like that, before or
Right,
since.
right. Um, I will tell you what one of the fun things for my generation was, George Carlin used to voice, I believe it was the mayor in Thomas the Tank Engine, the American version,
Hmm.
and
I don't know which
later on
character it
in
was, but I
life,
know he was in there. Yeah.
okay, yeah, later in life, when I found out there were outtakes where George Carlin would be George Carlin in
Uh,
Thomas the Tank Engine. Oh my goodness! If you have an opportunity, I
I've
beg you to
never seen
please
him.
go.
I'm gonna go. I'm going right now.
It's so
Thomas
hilarious. It's so
the
good.
Tank Engine bloopers. There we go.
Because he'll be like, he'll say like, you know, uh, Percy was in the way of Thomas on the rails, and then he'll just break into like, "F you, Percy, get the fuck out of my way." Yeah, shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, Carlin. I mean,
Oh,
it's the fact that the guy left us in 2008 and we're still talking about him. That's just
oh
speaks
yeah.
volumes. Just like we're still
I
talking
quoted him
about
the other day.
we're still talking about 1984. We're still talking about Shakespeare. I'm sorry, Jessica. What'd you say?
Oh no, I was just saying, like, I quoted him the other day. His quote, it's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you have to follow his God's 10 rules, or he'll send you into a pit where you burn and suffer, and you're tortured, and you cry, and you suffer and suffer and suffer for all of eternity. But he loves you.
But he loves you.
Yeah, I mean
Oh
the
gosh.
guy just held up a mirror to society better than anyone ever has.
Yeah.
And again, Shakespeare, same thing. Like if you anyone, and I know I've said this before, but anyone, whether it's in music, one of the reasons why Baker Street is so powerful is that it captures despair so well. You know, I can't make you love me.
Yeah.
If you can listen to I Can't Make You Love Me without feeling something, you're a shell of a human being. You-
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
there's no animation in you whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Have you
Exactly.
have you heard the Teddy Swims cover of it?
I have. Teddy Swims unfortunately annoys me because he's
Yeah,
always
largely
trying to
most of his.
put
Yeah.
too much on everything that he does. It's like, we get it,
Yeah.
Teddy. You're a good singer. Dial it back a little bit.
With
It's like
90, with
when
like,
you're a chef, you don't use every ingredient in every dish.
mhm. With like most of his music, I agree with you. I think that I kind of, out of all of his music that I've heard, his cover of I Can't Make You Love Me is my favorite just because he doesn't do that as much
Oh, good.
as his other songs. He kind of tones it down. And so I think he does pretty well by the song, honestly. It's, in my opinion, it's a pretty decent
Yeah,
cover of it.
good. Yeah. There's another guy. I actually have. What the fuck is his name? There's a dude, R&B singer that did a cover of it. McCullough, something McCullough. He put a slight twist to the phrasing, but did a real solid take. Like that song to me represents the saddest love song I've ever heard. I mean, I can't relate to anybody that doesn't get that, because it just means that maybe you've just never had love in your life, or something. I don't know what it means, but I'm just like, really? You don't know that song? You don't like that song? Come on. It's like Etta James, where she
Yolanda
she
McCullough?
sang, "I'd rather go blind than to watch you walk away." That's wild, man.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, who says that? Or Billy Vera and the Beaters. If you'd stay, I'd subtract 20 years from my life. Come the fuck on.
Yeah,
That is a man in love, ladies and gentlemen.
absolutely.
And of course, Billy Joel has a string of songs like that. So, I could probably name several of them now, but Shameless is one of my favorite. Um, Until the Night, another one. Stiletto. I mean, it's just the way you are, obvious pick, but uh, just and my favorite album of his is the Nylon Curtain because it doesn't sound like any other thing that Billy Joel ever did, and it was right after
Well,
his divorce.
and I will tell you, just that saxophone hook from Baker Street.
Mm,
I mean, we're all like it's playing in my mind right now, and as a matter of fact,
Mm.
ever since you brought it up, it has been playing on repeat in my mind.
there you go. I
Uh,
believe
th-
they refer
that
to that as
was
an earwig.
Yes, exactly. But when I eventually get off of here, I will listen to that song just so I can
Ba,
get it out of my
pra,
head.
ba, ba, da, ba, da, ba.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
brilliant. And whoever
but
whoever
that,
the
but
engineer was on that record did a brilliant
oh,
job because he had a lot of work
absolutely.
to do, a lot of work to do. There was a lot of orchestration in that
But I
song, and
mean,
and making it all blend
th
together. It's almost miraculous.
but like that hook that saxophone. I mean, that was one of the things when I was a kid, kind of like influenced me to get into music because I was like, at the time, I mean, between that saxophone and then all of the '80s hair metal, okay,
You know
it
what the
was just one of those
saxophone
things.
represented. Um, it was eventually replaced in rock music, but what does anyone know what the saxophone, or what the next instrument was used to mimic the saxophone?
Was it the steel guitar?
The electric guitar. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
electric guitars, their original sound, especially once distortion was introduced, was to mimic the sound of a saxophone. Because when you look back at a lot of the early rockers from the 50s, there was always a sax player in the
no,
band doing those kind of trills and slides and all that. That's why Clarence
oh my
Clemens
God,
was part of the E
Yeah,
Street Band.
and
yeah,
Ken Curtis played with Buddy Holly.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm telling you, as the saying
That-
goes, music hath charms to soothe the savage breast.
but
You
I
don't have
mean
to
that
teach
makes a lot of
anybody to
sense.
love music. It's just in us.
Think of your favorite guitar riff, and then just imagine it being played via saxophone.
Yeah, it would be almost
It makes
identical.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense.
yeah. And speaking of
There
guitar
there's a
solos, how about David Gilmour in any Pink Floyd song?
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
But I guess this kind of goes back to your premise of like perfect is the fact that you know these two instruments, though completely different. One is played with a reed, the other's played with your finger. Like just the ability for them to mimic each other, or one to mimic the other. Yeah, it makes absolute sense.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
ultimately, it's really about evoking emotion, right?
Yeah.
In my
Yep.
opinion, no one does it better than David Gilmour from Pink Floyd. Like Eddie Van Halen, of course, he took guitar into a stratosphere that is still being understood. Like what he did to, it was Hendrix, and then there was Eddie Van Halen. But
Hmm.
when you listen to any Pink Floyd song, when the guitar comes in, it's almost like another singer.
Right.
Yeah.
And the emotion, like Comfortably Numb, when that guitar comes, because that's
Yeah.
a sad song. That's a really, really sad song. It's about the music industry and how it abuses its performers. Like when the performer is strung out, they get Dr. Feelgood to come and pump them full of stuff so they can prop them on stage. That's what that song is about.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
and when that guitar kicks in, it's just stunning. It's like a whole nother song, and it's because Gilmore never misses. There's not one song that he's ever done for Pink Floyd where you listen to the guitar solo and go, no big deal. It's always
Right.
amazing.
That's
Always
And
amazing.
yeah. Switching to a different genre, but that's how I feel about a lot of Otis Redding's songs,
Yeah.
because like the guitar sections in them are so complementary that it almost adds another voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's
The best
amazing about all that is
the
all
best guitarists that's what they do. I'm sorry, Danny, what were we saying?
what's amazing when it all started decades before with Les Paul
Who I
on the
got to see
guitar.
yeah.
perform live twice.
The man that made the guitar sing in a melody unheard of till today,
Yeah.
even today.
Literally invented the electric guitar.
Yep.
We
Yep.
have a new guest. Zaza, hello.
Hi, lovely. How are you doing?
Oh, I like being called lovely for sure. How are you?
Okay. Butter the biscuit. Get the jelly.
I'm doing good.
Danny,
Zaza.
I have two things to
Yes.
say about myself.
Hi.
A, I'm a hoe, but in my defense, I'm a cheap hoe.
Well, at least you're affordable in this economy.
Yeah,
right.
this economy. Yes, exactly.
That's
So, Zaza, what's on your mind?
Did you hear about what RFK said?
Which
I'm sure we
time?
did, but go ahead. Which of the
About
500
how-
crazy things are you referring to?
So he apparently wants to look into basically the medication given to trans people leading to pew-pewings in schools.
Oh, good.
Wow.
That's important to find out something that happens 1 out of every 1,000 times.
I have an opinion
yeah.
on this topic. Sorry, real quick, Zaza. I have an opinion on this topic because the more of information has come out about that, and I don't really want to divulge about that, but this person was not like a true representing person. You know what I mean?
They were a MAGA
It
hat.
was a whole it was a whole incel
Oh.
thing. I don't want to get into it. It's
Of
it's
course.
so bad.
But this is
It's
the
like
depravity of the MAGA hats, okay? You're looking at a horrendous event and ignoring the 1,000 other people who were straight white T males that did this and focusing
correct.
on the fact that this person is a trans. That's disgusting.
Yes, because let's just be honest here. It could have very well been a person who was trans. I'm not saying it was
Yeah.
because of what
But what difference does it make?
traffic said, but it
Right.
doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
To me, they're making it. They would have found something, anything to look into any reason. This is just a reason to do it. Doesn't
This is
matter.
just a
15
this
human
is
beings
just a
are
reason
gone
to deflect
from the thing that the government has
Exactly.
full control to stop. Full ability
Yes.
and full control to
Absolutely.
stop. And they won't fucking do it because they're greedy cocksuckers that are being bribed by an industry. Bottom fucking line.
Yes, exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the only reason this is happening. Someone was trying to convince us on Danny's live the other day that somehow, America is so exceptional and blah 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 blah. It's like, no. There's only one difference. There's only one difference between America and other countries, and that is the number of weapons that are in the hands of
Yeah.
citizens. That's it. It's not hard to
there's
figure out. It's the most
there's
linear
more of them
fucking
than there are of
equation that
us.
exists in the world.
Yeah.
More weapons,
Yeah.
more fatalities, period.
Yep.
You know what we are number one in? Stupidity.
Well, that.
Well,
Well,
unfortunately,
when-
to call this the greatest country in the world, I find it interesting that the list of things that we're number one in are all fucking horrible,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? We're not
Yeah.
number one in good categories, unless you think military and money are good categories. Okay, I'll give you
Right.
those. You've got the biggest military for no reason, and you've got the most money
Blur.
that you're not letting people have
You
access
know,
to.
we're the richest country in the world, yet we have the most homeless people. Make it make sense.
The highest percentage of our population is in poverty than any other country.
Mm-hmm.
The highest percentage of our population is incarcerated more than any other country.
And
There's
Zaza,
also the fact that now I'm sorry. I just want to know when these people will get it together and figure out that if our country is so fucking great, why is the number one leading cause of unaliving of children in this country pew pew violence?
That part.
Mental health issues. And then every time a mental health bill gets proposed, they vote it down.
Yep.
Exactly.
Because it's more important to please their donors than it is to take care of us. I mean, look, I want to imitate Forrest Gump right now. I am not a smart man, right? I am reasonably
But I
intelligent.
know what
I'm
love
no
is.
fucking genius, but I can read English words and understand what they mean. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
the obvious thing, the obvious way to assess a country, to me, is based on the decisions that they make on behalf of their citizens and the outcome that those decisions produce. When you look at the string of outrageously shitty outcomes that occurs in America, like you break your leg and you lose your house, you know?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Right.
Don't tell me you're the greatest country in the world. I'm not buying that bullshit. Anyway, we have another guest. Rock and roll mama, how you doing?
Hello. I love this topic, by the way.
Thank you.
One of the biggest things that, and I'm using the ACA because that's closest to what we can use as an example, but almost every democratic country provides like things like socialized medicine
hmm
and they do make it affordable, and the problem is our pyramid is upside down,
Right.
with the good old Reagan's trickle down. And I don't know how to explain, well, they probably do understand, but they just want to make billions of dollars, that without a healthy electorate, you're not going to have a healthy country.
Right.
We should not have to be, I don't mind paying a copay. The ACA was a godsend for me. And we really shouldn't have left it up just to the states whether or not to expand the Medicaid or Medicare or whatever it is. It should be mandatory. And
Yeah.
it's little things like that. And the fact that we are struggling for basic human decency, the people that are probably more affected by it,
Yeah.
they are having mental health problems,
Right. Good night,
and they
Vicky.
can't afford to do that. you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, again, it's, that old saying, it all comes out in the wash, right? So the proof is in the pudding. Use whatever fucking metaphor you like, right? It's
Yeah.
all about outcomes. That's all I need to look at. What outcomes are you getting? I look at China, where they do not know what it means to lose your home because you're sick, because you're broke, nothing, because you're jobless. They don't lose their homes. When they
Neither
found
does most
out
of
that
Europe.
happened in America, they were like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Someone comes and takes your home? because they don't have property tax. They don't have all
Mm-hmm.
the million ways that you could fall through the cracks as we do in America.
It,
You
They
know,
also
if
proportionately tax their wealthy.
yeah.
right,
Oh, what a
That's the
concept.
number one thing.
The thing
yeah, I
that
know,
made
right?
America an economic superpower. Why? Yeah. Hey, Reagan, let's stop the thing that made America an economic superpower. Let's stop
Well,
Fucking all
taxing the
because
rich.
and
right,
one of
all
the things
because
that
Arthur Letcher.
yeah, yeah. Well, and one of the things that infuriates me right now is, for the last ever since Barack Obama became president in 2009, we've all been hearing about this whole, oh, we're going to be this socialistic, communist, blah blah blah, whatever. And what did the current administration just do here? What was it? 2 weeks ago, they bought 10% of Intel, and
Mm-hmm.
not in the kind of way where it's kind of like, we're going to bail out like the auto industry like we did back 20 years ago. This is a actual literal purchase of 10% of an American company
Yep.
that now the government owns. It's
Just like the mafia
literally
does, right?
socialism.
That's the mafia
Exactly.
skimming off the top.
And on top of that, we're the government is I forget what's the guy's name, the guy with the beard. He was Donald Trump's lawyer. Oh God, he's on
Oh,
Fox News all the time.
I
Anyways,
hate that guy.
I know who it is, but I
yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember the name.
yeah. He's suggesting that the U.S. government start to take ownership of the defense companies, and it's like,
Altogether
wait a
Why
minute,
not?
Listen, what
What
have I
kind of
been saying
district?
for the longest time?
right?
He is doing what Putin has done. This is
Exactly.
exactly the playbook from Putin. Like, by a lot of estimates, I've heard a lot of economists talk about this. Putin might actually be the wealthiest man in the world.
Right. Right.
And how did he
And
do it?
Yeah.
Just hoarding everything to himself.
unfortunately,
Oh
the
yeah,
orange man is now trying to compete.
yeah,
He envies
and
him.
not only that, but I believe he also, because over there they have oligarchs who mysteriously fall out of windows like once a month.
Yeah.
And then
They're
There's
typically
so
a
in
term for
many of
that.
clumsy. Why are they so
yeah,
clumsy?
and then in many of those cases, their wealth and even control of their companies is then in many cases redistributed to Vladimir.
Yep.
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 It's funny how that works out.
So
Isn't
this
it?
is the most
Is is
naked
it
grab for
trepidation?
money and power that I've ever seen. Um, and look, America's been through worse. Let's face it. But this is one of the worst things America's ever been through, because this could be the end of America. I mean, I don't mean the country's going to collapse and nothing's going to function, but the
Mm.
America that we were brought up on, all the propaganda, all the things that America supposedly stood for. George Carlin said something like this like 35, 40 years ago. He was like, I like the freedoms we used to have, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. Everything in America that we've been taught represented America is eroding in front of us in real time.
I
Yeah, well, I
apologize.
mean,
It's not. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jessica. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. I was just going to say, like, historically, empires collapse about every 250 years. Just a heads up, we're on year 249.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although not 249 as an empire, we're only about 100 or so years into being an empire.
Right.
But
It wasn't
that shows
trepidation.
you how bad what's happening is. It's accelerating that decline.
Right. It wasn't trepidation. It was defenestration. That's the word I was looking for, where people just magically fall out of windows all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I call it Vladimir as someone to push,
Exactly.
because it happened to, I think, 13 of the people that opposed him.
That is an accurate count, actually.
Once in a
still say
while, a
Trump
memory
is.
bubble surfaces to the top.
Yeah, I still think that Trump is paying back Putin for the money he's taken from him by destroying the country.
Sure.
I think
Hey,
I think that's the
how about the
payoff.
fact that Dump just got his $88 million bond paid for right before the deadline, and nobody knows who did it. We know it wasn't Dump, but somebody paid the bill.
Isn't it also interesting how this comes right on the
I didn't know about
heels
that.
of a hacking that was done to, I believe, the Justice Department
The
that they
SSA.
then.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
traced back to Russia. And when questioned about it, Trump says, "Well, they're Russia. What do you expect?" That was his response.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He let them
I
in,
mean,
probably.
the Onion can't even be this much of a parody. This is you.
I
There
don't even
is
know
no
how.
there. The Has anyone seen an Onion post
The
recently? Like
Onion,
they have
No.
nothing to
no.
do.
Now,
Yeah, the Onion's like, all right, we're done.
They're gonna have to start going reverse and like posting things that are normal.
Right. They're actually going to have to
yeah,
start doing the news.
Yeah.
I
Right.
saw a video earlier today actually here on this app where it was a woman saying that she was speaking with one of her friends who lives, overseas, and they were like, "Oh, I haven't even turned on the news in like the last 2 weeks, catch me up what's going on in America." And she said, as I was, catching my friend up on the last 2 weeks here in America, I started to realize that I sound deranged. And I'm just reporting the news, but I
Right.
sound absolutely deranged at the things that I'm saying. I'm like, well, yeah, that's pretty much how it feels to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
Yeah,
they
it's
say
pretty
dump
crazy.
derangement syndrome, it's like, yeah, but not the way you mean.
Yep.
It's like a horror telenovela.
Yeah.
Yeah. And telenovelas are really, really cheesy. But yeah, I mean, I keep using the word surreal because that's what it feels like to me. Like when I wake up and remember that a glorified carnival barker has the nuclear codes, I have this feeling for a moment like, how is that even possible? And then I go, oh yeah, no, that's actually happening.
Yeah.
I've decided recently that I'm going to start keeping just like a journal, not a like personal thoughts journal, but I'm just going to start writing down key details daily of like different shit that's coming out of this administration or across the country. And just because there's so much going on all at once that, of course, things we forget. Oh, yeah, that did happen like 2 weeks ago because there's
Right.
just more crazy
Yeah.
shit. So that when I look back at this in, 10, 15 years, like in 10 years, when my kid has an assignment at school, like, oh, what was that time like? Assuming that there's still book reports and shit like that at that time.
Right.
Assuming there's a school.
Yeah, then I can just be like, here, read this and just see how fucking crazy it was.
Jessica, your journals in about 100 years will end up being like, dearest Guinevere, my group, we ended up taking Gettysburg. It's gonna be exactly
My
like
troop,
this.
Oh
my
my
troop
God.
got dysentery because of lack of citrus.
Exactly. Exactly. The
And
winters were
honestly,
cold and harsh.
if that were to happen in like
Our
a year that
horse
everyone just starts getting
fell.
dysentery, I wouldn't even be surprised
Yeah.
anymore.
Hey, listen, it's funny you mention
I
that.
really with the way
There
things
is
are
a
going
weird
with
disease going around
RFK,
right now, though.
I
Oh my God,
expect
what
it
do?
at this point. Like, okay, when is the dysentery gonna hit? We're all waiting for
Well,
it.
it's funny you mention that because here in Ohio we have 5 Republican legislators that are now advocating for the free sale of raw milk.
Oh
Right, because it works so
no.
well in Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So hey,
Yeah.
whatever.
No,
Drink
here's
up,
what
I
I think
guess.
will happen. I think we're going to have the real life idiocracy happening, and in about 100 years, people are just going to be nonverbal and throwing shit at each other.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a new
Society's just gonna
guest,
crumble in on itself.
Gerald. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Excellent. What's on your mind?
I'm just chiming in, but I kind of like it live. It's fun.
I'll take kind of. Cool.
No, I'm saying because I don't know it's hot. I know it's not hostile. I already knew that.
Well, it can be,
Well, guess
you
what?
know,
I'm
because
here for the
I
fire.
have a shitty temperament sometimes. But go ahead.
I'm here for the fire then, because I'm,
There you
I'm
go.
ready to go.
Nice, nice.
I'm gonna
So,
be.
did you have any thoughts on what we were talking about?
I just came in for a little bit, so I don't really know
Okay,
what y'all.
gotcha. All right, so hang out and get in where you fit in. But yeah, I just think it's like I am going to watch Idiocracy again because I enjoyed it the first time, mostly because I'm madly in love with Maya Rudolph and I wish she would fucking
Mm-hmm.
just leave Paul Thomas Anderson already so that we could really have a good life together. But you know, because she's got a lot of money and I have no money, and I think that would be a perfect balance. So the film really was like it was projected 500 years in the future, and I think it was an extrapolation based on the fact that IQ scores have gone down over the last 100 years, and millennials can't handle punctuation in a text. Like that's a real thing. I'm not making that up. Apparently, if you use punctuation in a text, millennials take that as hostility. So it's like, you're not ready for the world.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, I swear to you, that's a thing.
I didn't know that because I'm super into punctuation. Maybe I've been doing it wrong.
Me
Yeah.
I
too.
I
Maybe I'm an older
I
millennial. I don't know what's
I
going on.
write my
I
text like
know.
I'm
We're the
applying for a
elder
job.
millennials,
I read
We're
it. I hate when I misspell anything. I hate when I miss a comma.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just into
too.
writing correctly. But the point is that when the people that made Idiocracy looked at the history of America and the dumbing down of America, they simply projected what that could look like in 500
Right.
years. And I think they were being really conservative. I think we might be 100 years away from that.
100 years away. Yeah, absolutely. In Brondo, it's what plants crave.
Yeah, but hear me out though with the Gatorade though, because Florida, Gatorade's from Florida, and how
Right.
Trump feels with Florida, so
that
Gatorade.
orange
We're gonna be
Gatorade.
we're like 2 weeks away from watering the crops with Gatorade.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it
Wow.
because the one of the things that I intensely dislike about Dump is that he only seeks his own counsel, and so if a room full of experts are telling him something based on their decades of experience and research and knowledge, he goes, "I don't think so." You know,
Yeah.
it's just a
Unless he's
dumb guy.
asking, unless he needs someone to read him an executive order and tell him what's in it before he signs it.
Yeah, but he looks at that as someone being servile, not that it's
Right.
something lacking in him.
Fair point. Yeah, fair
I,
point.
I will say the recent Gavin Newsom video where he came out where he was sitting behind the governor's desk and he had the gentleman standing behind him and he's holding up the piece of paper talking about whatever it was, just imitating the president. I mean, again, and I've said this before, Gavin Newsom at this point is a means to an end, and the fact that he continues to just berate the president with his own
He
image
can play with
is
the mean
just,
girls.
oh my goodness.
Exactly. And
I'm
and
I'm
here's and here's
100%
my
behind it.
message to all Democrats that want to find some way to fault Newsom for anything. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
That
Okay?
Yeah.
part.
Thank
Fault him for
Forget
being
all the bullshit.
awesome.
We need someone who can win. And here's the thing. I don't
and,
give a fuck who it is. If
and
it's
guess what?
Newsom, it's Newsom. If someone else comes up that seems better, put them up. I don't care. I'm not emotionally attached to any of these people. The only thing I'm emotionally
Correct.
attached to is ending fucking fascism.
Yeah.
That
And I
part.
got two people that
Yeah.
can go up.
Say again?
I got two people that might be able to make it.
Oh, cool. Who?
One, Roy Cooper, Roy, excuse me, Roy. Damn, I can't get it out. Roy Cooper out of North
Roy
Carolina.
Cooper?
Yeah,
Okay.
him. And then if you bring up the governor now, Josh Stein
Yeah.
of North
Gotcha.
Carolina,
Yeah.
them two, right?
Stein
They would make
is he Philadelphia or Chicago? Which one is he?
who?
Josh Stein.
No, he's the governor of North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay. I
What
knew.
about what's his face? I think it's Shapiro.
He
Oh,
would
from
be good too.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
believe it would be Josh Stein and either Roy Cooper who could take it.
So
Because Roy
here's the
I
thing. Here's a rule of thumb that I apply in these situations. If I got to think about the person's name, I'm not interested.
that part,
I
yeah.
want
Right.
someone that comes to me right away. Gavin Newsom,
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times is the answer for me right now. And only because
Yeah.
he's fiercely intelligent, he's beautiful
Yeah.
to look at, he's an amazing debater. He
Yep.
puts anyone to shame that steps in front of him in a debate.
Here's my
And he's willing to
2028
roll up
ticket.
his sleeves and throw down.
Here's
Not
my
only
20.
that, but
Oh,
sorry,
go
go
ahead, Jessica.
ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
well, real quick. Here's my
Mhm.
2028 ticket as of right now. Is oh my god, the governor of California,
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin
Gavin
Newsom.
Newsom.
Gavin
Sorry,
Newsom.
it's getting late, so I'm getting a little tired. Gavin
That's okay.
Newsom and VP is JB Pritzker. That's where I'm at right now.
Sure.
So my thing with Gavin Newsom too is not only everything that Yoda just said, all of those points, but if we also think about it, I mean, up until now, the largest demographic of people who are actually showing up at the polls have been the elderly, right? Or what we
Right.
consider to be more senior people. But now we're getting to the point where we've got a lot of Gen Zers, we've got a lot of millennials, and we've got a lot of Gen X. And what's something that all three of those generations have in common? They fucking love it when someone trolls someone they don't like. So I think like Gavin Newsom's current thing that he's doing right now with trolling Trump so hard, I think that that's going to give him a really big leg up, and we could potentially, if he's the candidate, I
Yeah.
think we could potentially see a massive shift in the demographic of people that we're seeing at the voter booth, and have a lot more of the, quote unquote, younger generations showing up to vote. And I think that people would honestly vote for him just based on what he's doing now and trolling the shit out of Donald Trump.
Could be. Could be. Sounds like a solid strategy. I mean,
I
at this point, we just need, first of all, to anyone that looks like me, okay? Brown and BLK folks, take your fucking heads out of your ass and stop voting for your own oppression and stop voting for your own deportation. This is what I said last November when I found out how many minorities, I mean, Hispanics were worse, but when I found out how many minorities, especially Hispanics, voted for their own deportation, I was like, what in the fuck are you thinking? Do you think you're part of the club? You're not. Okay? If you got any melanin in your skin, you're not fucking part of the club. Stop it. Okay? So, and we're seeing that they're starting to wake up to the horrible reality of what they did last year. So we need to keep reminding them, like Howard Stern's father used to say, stop being stupid, you moron.
Mhm.
Exactly.
There's I was in a live months ago about this topic from it was largely people who were Latino, and one of the interesting things that they said, it was this one woman was actually just talking about how she was trying to convince her relatives and everything not to vote for Trump, of course, and the issue was basically skin color. And so it was one of those things, the closest to whiteness kind of is part of their decision.
Yeah.
And
This
because
is why
Yeah.
Harriet Tubman carried a weapon. Because
Mhm.
there's always going to be the step and fetch it Sambo motherfuckers out there that need to be eliminated from the team because they're jeopardizing the mission.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, there's
Yeah.
too many of them in American society. It's like, stop trying to be masses' favorite pet. It ain't going to work.
Mhm.
By the way, I have another
Yeah.
live
Yeah,
roll-up
that's
of
it's one of
100
the reasons
roses. Feel free to have at it.
my father voted for Trump because of religion, and I continue to ask to this day, what has Trump shown that is godly? Oh, well, he's against, gay marriage, and he's against, trans,
There's
and
like
I'm like,
3
that's
sentences
not
in the Bible
godly.
that are loosely about men with men. But here's what I know for sure. I'm no Bible scholar, but I have read it and I have been discussing it for most of my life. Your boy JC had one fucking job, which was to deliver the word of God onto the unwashed masses, right? And he was here from age 1 through 12, disappeared for 18 years. Let's not ask any questions about that. Came back when he was 30 and then left us at 33. So that whole time that he was in the public eye, he had one fucking job and never mentioned anything about boys kissing boys.
Right.
Come on. And even if he did, these were illiterate sand dwellers that didn't know what fucking bacteria was. Why are we listening to them? Oh,
Right. I mean, you are taking the same, like, it was like what that was like Leviticus, right? It's the same area where they
Leviticus,
say, "Oh, don't eat
Deuteronomy,
fish."
the fucking
Right.
all that
but-
horse shit.
I'm doing this.
But
I'm
even
cleaning this
even
up,
so,
okay?
like you have
Sorry.
I mean, it's hard for you to repeat a conversation that you heard 5 minutes ago word for word, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that they take it so literally, the word that was written by other people hundreds of years afterwards in a different language that the original person never spoke, in which there are certain words that there is no translation for in the new language? Make that one make sense.
No problem. I mean, when you think about the fact, a couple of facts. One, the most popular version of the Bible is the King James version, right? Here's the first fact. King James was a piece of shit. He was completely awful.
yeah.
He was
Yeah.
completely horrible. And being a king, he obviously had an agenda. And one of the ways we can gauge how serious he was in his agenda is between his version of the Bible and the original Sinai text, there are over 13,000 differences. So you're not even getting the original shit.
Right.
And yeah, going from Aramaic to Greek to this to that to hundreds of different languages, and plus being the longest telephone game in history, plus being edited constantly in the Council of Nicaea for 26 years in a row. Really, you think you're really getting the word of God? You know, do you think that if God wanted to communicate with you, he would need all these intermediaries to communicate with you? I mean, in the Bible, he's talking to people all the time. Why has he been silent for 2,000 years? Nobody's suspicious of this? Oh,
Yeah, I think we're a little light on the burning bushes today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if there's a burning bush, it's probably an ex-girlfriend of mine. Hi-oh.
No.
I fell into a burning ring of fire,
There you go.
Went down, down, down.
and the flames get
Oh.
higher.
I love it. Traffic Man is like a jukebox. If you start a song, he just kicks right in.
Mm-hmm.
I love music. I'm sorry.
So do I.
He is a hole. He is a hole.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So we're gonna wrap this up, even though I'm having a lot of fun since we have so many people on the panel. I want to start getting final thoughts. Gerald, now that you've heard a few minutes of our goofy conversation, do you have any thoughts?
I love this laugh. I really do.
There you go.
And I
That's a
will
promotion. You went from kind of to love. I'm satisfied.
I'm coming back,
Mhm.
trust and believe. And when I get some coins, I'm gonna follow you
I
because I
appreciate
seen
that.
you a couple of times. But I think no, you. I gotta say it real quick. You're just awesome. I mean,
Wow. Thank you.
you
Thank
show
you.
me some new light.
I appreciate that. Well, listen, I'm here Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Eventually, there's going to be a shift depending on what happens with the new version of this platform, and whatever curiosity I have about other shit. But that's where I am for now, Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. I usually go about 2 hours, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. But you are certainly welcome back anytime. Thank you for coming up here tonight. All right, and next on the list we have Rock and Roll Mama. Final thoughts, please.
I love what you do. Since you mentioned it, do you know what they're gonna do with TikTok yet? Because I'm
The
trying
only
to.
thing we
I
know
don't
for
know if getting into
sure
creative
is
now.
that Mark Zuckerberg and the owner of Oracle, whatever the fuck his face is, they are basically taking it over. There are going to be some changes. It's just a question in my mind of how intolerable these changes are going to be. The hints at the new rules, which I don't take as gospel because they're not launched yet, they're not codified yet, but the new rules sound like they suck ass. So I have a feeling that I might be migrating, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to thank you for having me up, and
My pleasure.
I want to say something on that before you leave. Is it true that we will have to download a new app?
Potentially. By the way, you actually don't need the app for this platform. You can use it on a web browser, and that's what I would recommend moving forward, everybody, because we know, especially with the American company, that data mining is going to be their number one priority. So I would say use a secure browser, something like either Firefox or Avast. Those are two of the securest browsers I know of, and I do a lot of reading about which browsers are good. And you can use almost everything that you use an app for normally, because all an app does is connect you to a website most of the time. But
Right.
the reason why they want it on your phone is so that way when you're talking about the fact that you need new blue jeans, they're going to deliver an ad for blue jeans on your
Right.
phone. And so using a
Right.
secure browser will mitigate that somewhat.
Now I have a tablet. I don't
Hmm.
have an actual like laptop. Can I download Firefox onto
Hmm.
my tablet?
Yes.
yeah, I
Oh yeah.
use it on my tablet.
Yeah, yeah. Either Firefox, Avast, or whatever you found out that
Yeah.
you think is secure. I happen to think that those are the two most secure browsers in the market right now. So yeah,
Yeah, because mine
most of the
it just
time,
came with
tablets can
Google
do everything that
Chrome,
your phone
so
can do.
right.
All right. So Rock and Roll Mama, thank you so much for coming up. Have a great night. Hopefully, we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. All right. Next, we have Zaza. Final thoughts, please.
It's always a pleasure being in your life, sir. I mean, the dude above, the new guy, said it best. I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
You're,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. It's always a pleasure coming into your life and listening to you, and you're very calm. And yes, I've heard you like before when you're not so calm, but I still respect you because you stand up for what you believe in, sir, as you should.
Thank you. I do my best to manage my emotions. That's what I've been learning how to do for almost 38 years now. And I try only to unleash any kind of anger when it's based on righteousness. So,
Mm-hmm.
like the only times people have seen me angry, it's only really been one time, and I was at about a 7 out of 10 when that person was telling me that the best thing for
Mhm.
minorities to do is comply.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
and even then I wasn't out of control. I wasn't, blacking out with
No.
anger as I sometimes did in my youth, but I was willing to go there because I felt that I was righteous to do so. So most of the time, this is how I am. I'm a laid back dude. I'm fat. I'm sweaty, and I'm not that bright. So I just, I whatever words come into my big goofy head spill out of my mouth, and if they're entertaining or valuable in any way, I'm always happy about that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank you.
thank
Thank
you
you
for
for your
having me.
kind compliments, and come back anytime.
Always.
All right. Jessica, final thoughts, please.
Yeah, good live tonight. I know we covered and bounced around to a bunch of different shit, but, I don't know, it was very refreshing. I know a lot of times on these lives we talk about a lot of current topics, so it was kind of nice to just kind of decompress for a minute. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you for that. It's always a pleasure coming on here.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
But
that's part
yeah.
of the shift that I'm making is like, I'll always be focused somewhat on politics and current events, but life is more interesting to me, and that's just a segment of life. So there are other segments of life as we demonstrated tonight, and I have no problem when the conversation takes any shape or form. I find it all
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a good open discussion, and I appreciate your platform for that.
And I always appreciate your input. So thank you again for coming by. And as always, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
All right. Traffic man. Final thoughts,
Yes,
please.
sir. All right. So, my final thoughts for the evening. As we were discussing something here before we got to final thoughts, I would implore everybody to look into the new AI threat detection system called Gideon.
Hmm.
It's unfortunately it's another one of those, Planeteer. They have to name it after something from biblical or some sort of storyline crap.
Yeah.
But Gideon is the future of American threat detection. And from what I've read on it and what I've seen on what its capabilities are, it really brings me to the mindset of the Tom Cruise movie Minority Report.
Hmm.
And I'm concerned that given the current administration, they're more than happy to allow this type of a system to be implored upon the American people. But anyways, aside from all that, fantastic live.
Thank
I'm
you.
very glad that I took the time to come up tonight. I mean, it's always a pleasure having you, or excuse me, it's always a pleasure of being here. Sorry.
Now you
It's
really
the
sound
late
like my
night getting,
ex-girlfriends.
yeah,
Hi-oh.
yeah. There you go. But no, for real. I feel bad that I missed the last couple of nights, but I wanted to make it a point to come up tonight because I really do miss not being in your lives because they're always so much fun, no matter what the topic is,
Dude,
really.
listen, I will never hold it against anybody for living their life and enjoying time with their family. And nobody is compelled to be here. Everybody that comes up here does so because they want to, and I am honored every time anybody does, because I know that this all of this is going to go away eventually. Like Chuck Palahniuk
Sure,
said in Fight Club, judged on a long enough timeline, everyone dies in the end. So,
exactly.
I enjoy every moment that I get to spend with folks that are interesting, that are funny, that can carry conversations. So, part of what makes my lives enjoyable are people like you and Jessica and Zaza and everybody else that that came up and share their thoughts. I'm just the one that sparks the fire, but then the fire grows as it goes through everybody else's perceptions and thoughts and all that stuff. So, I could sit up here and talk alone for an hour. I've done it. I've been a public speaker since 1988. It's no problem for me. I could fill up 2 or 3 hours and never get off topic and say whatever I had to say. That's not interesting to me. This is
Right,
way more
right.
interesting to me to have other people come up and share their ideas. So thank you
Absolutely.
for your participation. I
Well,
appreciate you.
real quick, tomorrow night, try not to beat the crap out of everybody
I
on
can't
Danny's
promise
live.
that. There's no way I can promise that.
All right, all right.
I can't control this beast. When you ask it a
That's
question,
right.
if the answer pops up, I have no choice about just yelling it out. So,
Danny,
and for
give him
people
like
for
half a
people that
point.
don't know,
Oh,
tomorrow night Danny has a Trivial Pursuit game. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. He's the bottom box there, the handsome gentleman in the bottom box. Please follow Danny. Please join us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. on the West Coast for Trivial Pursuit. I promise you, beyond the shadow of a doubt, with no close competitor, it is the most fun you will have on social media.
It
Promise you.
absolutely is.
Okay?
Yes,
We
I second
spend
that.
3 to 4 hours just fucking laughing.
Yep.
And we're playing Trivial Pursuit and we're competitive and we want to win and all that other shit, but it's fun. It's so much fun. So please come by and do that. And so thank
Oh,
you for reminding me of that, Traffic Man. And,
and real quick, if I
yeah,
may,
yeah.
Danny, did you get the new cards yet, or is that later?
that's coming up. I'll be ordering them next week.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get down to your level, Trappy man. I'm gonna
Yeah,
order
there you go.
Disney. I'm gonna order Disney for you.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Listen, I look forward to whatever questions come my way so I can show off how smart I am. But
There you go.
anyway, thanks again, Traffic Man. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
All right. Danny, my brother from another mother, last man standing as always. What are your final thoughts?
Well, I'd like to address a comment in the chat there. Eric 50, I went ahead and followed you, so now you can follow me back. Somehow it wouldn't allow him to follow me, so I took care of that.
Oh,
I
okay,
followed
cool,
Eric 50 down there.
cool.
So, uh, I will guarantee everybody in the chat that's coming to Trivial Pursuit tomorrow afternoon is that you're going to have at least once, maybe twice tomorrow night. Yoda's going to say, "Holy fuck, I got that one right."
That's 100%
So,
true.
so I just thought I'd mention that for you people that in case you miss it and you don't get to come, I will guarantee I'll hear that a couple of 3 times. It might be a record tomorrow night. I may hear it 10 times. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's it's been a good live. It was very interesting conversation. That everybody was engaged. Gerald, that was at the top of the panel. He's a friend of mine.
Oh,
He's
nice.
a mod for OG.
Oh, great.
So he's military. He was in the artillery. That's why he had that design up there. He's a cannon cocker.
Excellent.
So good man. And so I was glad to see him here. And he's following you because he's a good guy. So with
Good
that,
stuff.
I'm usually on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific time. But the way of positive change, Monday and Wednesday is current events. And on Friday, as Yoda was saying, we do Trivial Pursuit. It's called Casual Friday. And we do that every Friday, rain or shine. That's what we like to do. It's a lot of fun. I hope everybody shows up. And in September, on the first and third Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Pacific time, we do Vet Talk at Veterans Helping Veterans. It's a discussion between veterans and the transition and processing after you get out of service into civilian life and how to maneuver around the VA to get the benefits that you need. So, and you burn. So that's what we do on the first and third Sunday of the month. It's Vet Talk, Veterans Helping Veterans.
Yeah, and in the chat, someone said something about 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's 6 p.m. Eastern time. Pacific, it would be 3 p.m. All right. So, yeah.
Yes.
So, Danny, as always, a pleasure. Hopefully, you'll be able to get that mic arm working for you for the game tomorrow. That way, you're not leaning forward and straining your back and shoulders.
We're hoping, but if not, for sure, I'm going to work on it this weekend, so we'll get her done.
Excellent.
So
All right, my friend. I love you. I will talk to you soon.
I love you too. Thank you for having me up on the panel as usual. Thank you.
All right. Excellent. All right, folks. That wraps it up. I have no closer tonight. On a personal note, I was feeling sluggish and tired. Thought about bailing on tonight, and every time I push myself to do a live despite how I'm feeling, I am rewarded by having amazing comments in the chat, an amazing panel that takes the conversation into beautiful, phenomenal, wonderful places. So, this is tonic for me. This is therapy for me. My brain is a bouillabaisse of activity, so it's good that I have a place to come and share my thoughts with you, because I could very well be in a padded cell sharing them to only myself. So thank you all for joining me as always, and until we meet each other again, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.